All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is my favorite calculator. Now, if you see TI-83 Plus, you're like, oh, I have a TI-84 or I have a TI whatever. It's basically the same thing. So just follow along, and you'll find the buttons in relatively the same location as well. Because currently I have a TI-84, but it's the same sequence. Now, the first thing we're going to do are these 5 examples. All right, that's all we're going to do. I'm just going to show you where you'd find those buttons that'll help you. Now, since this is so user-friendly, there are going to be a little bit of differences, but you can get them to look pretty close to how they look on when you're plugging them in here. So let's find out. So we have 3. There's the caret button. Hit 5, and we should get 243. All right, so these are the answers in red that you should get when you plug them in right. Make sure you know what you're doing there. Now, for number 2, what you can do with this is plug it in just like you see it, but you got to find those parentheses and use them correctly. So it'd be 4 parenthesis 2, and I would just use 2 caret 3 right in here and then close the parenthesis out. That's what I would do. Or you could just do 2 caret 3, get 8, and then multiply that by 4. Either way, you should end up with 32. If you end up with 512, that's because your sequence was wrong. All right, that's really it. Okay. Now, they get more difficult as they work. Now, this is E. It's an exponential number. So here's what we're going to do with this one. Now, if you want to plug it in exactly like you see it, then you start by hitting 500. Then you hit the second button, which is located right here. And then down here, because that's e to the x right there, which should pop up e with a little caret next to it. Now, depending on your calculator, it's going to come up with e with a parenthesis, or with a caret in parentheses, or it's going to come up just like that, just like you see it, e, and then have a little cursor up here, ready to go. Either way, you type in 0.06 times 5, parenthesis, or you type in 0.06 times 5 there, and it should end up with that. Okay, so by all means, please plug that in, take some time, pause the video, and make sure you can get that out of it. If you can't, then you need to message me on Google Hangouts. I would love to help out. Now, for number 4, all right, we're plugging that in exactly like we see it as well. So 6,000, parentheses, 1 plus, it'd be, now, I would put another parenthesis here. This is what I would do. So do 0.08 divided by 4, parenthesis, because you have to close that one and you have to close that one. Then caret, and you could either put parenthesis here, 4 times 10, or you could just put 40, because you know what 4 times 10 is. All right. Either way, you should get this. If you get a different number, check your parentheses. Make sure you have the parentheses in the right locations that I do. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, last but not least, if you have a TI-84, I haven't figured out how to do this yet, but you might be able to plug it in just like you see it here. However, I'm going to give you a little hint. There's something called the change of base formula. When you see log base 4 of 16, you could always rewrite this in your calculator as log 16 over log 4. Now, these logs have base 10 right there and there, but you don't write them. This one has log base 4. So this and this are the same thing due to the change of base formula for logs. We'll get into that in Chapter 8, I promise. Now, the log button happens to be right there. So you type in log, and it should come up with a parenthesis, 16, parenthesis, divided by, then log, parenthesis, 4, parenthesis, hit equals, and you should end up with 2. All right? Now, you should end up with all these numbers in red if you plug them in correctly. If you have any other calculator issues, please message me on Google Hangouts. I would love to help. Thank you so much for your time.